claws that rend flesh from bone, fangs that crush armor like tinfoil. The galaxy trembles in terror at the mere mention of the apex predators, known as the Gamelons. But one human, Captain Terry Robertson, dares to stand against the tide of fear. Leading the starship Odyssey on an expedition amidst the chaos of the galactic war, Terry and his crew detect a faint life sign emanating from a derelict Gamelon vessel. Despite the risks, Terry orders his team to board the eerie alien craft. Inside, they discover a juvenile Gamelon, grievously wounded and barely clinging to life. Terry's first officer objects to bringing the creature aboard, fearing the dangers of harboring one of the galaxy's most lethal predators. Yet Terry's compassion wins out. He commands his medical team to fight for the young alien's life. But as they work frantically to stabilize the creature Terry names Keed, urgent warnings blare from the scanners. A massive Gamelon warship appears, weapons locked on the Odyssey. The injured juvenile must have sent a distress call to its kind. Now, with Gamelon reinforcements bearing down and a vulnerable alien in their medbay, Terry faces an impossible choice. Attempt to communicate with the ruthless apex predators, or fight to protect Kaid at all costs. One wrong move could spell humanity's annihilation. As the crew braces for battle, young Kaid stirs, opening its eyes to gaze upon the faces of its human saviors for the first time. In that moment, a bold decision is made, one that will alter the course of the war and the fate of galaxies. As the Gamelon warship looms on the monitor, its hull filled with weapons, Captain Terry Robertson steels himself for a confrontation he'd hoped to avoid. He opens a channel, the bridge crew tense as coiled springs beside him. "This is Captain Terry Robertson of the Odyssey. We discovered one of your kind, a juvenile, badly injured, aboard a derelict vessel. We're rendering medical aid. Our intentions are peaceful." The screen flickers to life, revealing a fearsome visage, Warlord Zektar, his mottled scales gleaming, eyes burning with malice. "Lies!" Zektar snarls, fangs bared. "You seek to steal our young, to unravel the secrets of our biology. Return the child, or face annihilation." Terry's jaw clenches. "We only wish to help. If you'll just listen." "I will not bandy words with lesser beings." Zektar cuts him off. "You have one span to comply, or I will shred your ship to atoms." The screen goes dark. In the medbay, Dr. Emily Chen watches the exchange on a monitor, her heart pounding. She turns to the bed where Kaid lies, the young Gamelon stirring, emerald eyes flickering open. Kaid lets out a low growl, claws flexing. "Easy," Emily soothes. "You're safe. We're here to help." Kaid blinks, takes in the unfamiliar surroundings, the strange, soft-skinned creatures. Fear mingles with curiosity. Emily activates the translation device. "Can you understand me?" "Yes." Kaid's voice is like gravel. "Where am I? Who are you?" "I'm Dr. Chen. You're aboard our ship, the Odyssey. We found you wounded. We've been treating your injuries." Kaid's gaze darts to the view screen, widening at the sight of Zektar's ship. "Zektar? He attacked my transport, separated me from my creche. He hungers for power, seeks to overthrow the council." Emily relays the information to the bridge. Terry's brow furrows. He turns to Kaid's image on the screen. "Warlord Zektar is demanding we turn you over, or he'll destroy us. But it sounds like we have a common enemy. Will you trust us to help you stop him?" Kaid meets Terry's gaze, seeing persistence, compassion, strength. Slowly he nods. Terry makes a decision. "We run then. Buy ourselves time to plan our next move. Helm, lay in a course for the Khazari Nebula, maximum warp." The Odyssey pivots, engines surging. Zektar's ship unleashes a barrage, the blast rocking the human vessel. But the Odyssey is quick, dancing out of range and leaping to warp speed, the stars blurring into streaks of light. In the medbay, Kaid watches the human crew through the medbay window, marveling at their commitment, even in the face of his kind's ferocity. An unfamiliar feeling kindles in his chest. Not fear, but something else. Hope. The Odyssey hurtles through the swirling gases of the Khazari Nebula, the shimmering hues painting the hull in an ethereal glow. On the bridge, Captain Terry Robertson pores over star charts with his first officer, plotting a course deeper into Gamelon space. In the medbay, Cade sits up on the biobed, his emerald eyes fixed on the human doctor tending to his wounds. "Why did you save me?" Cade asks, his gravelly voice tinged with curiosity. Dr. Emily Chen meets his gaze, her face a mask of compassion. "Because every life has value no matter the species." Cade tilts his head, considering her words. "My kind does not share that belief. We are taught that strength is all that matters." "But you're different," Emily says softly. "You trusted us, helped us. Maybe there's more to the Gamelon way than blind aggression." Cade looks away, conflicted. The medbay doors hiss open and Terry strides in, his face etched with drive. "We need to talk," he says to Cade. "Zektar's forces are scouring the sector for us. We can't hide forever. It's time we take the fight to him." Cade nods, rising to his feet. "Agreed, but we can't do it alone. To reach the High Council and expose Zektar's treachery, we need an ally who knows the treacherous territories of our home system." "Who did you have in mind?" Terry asks. "Nezra," Cade says, "a Gamelon scout, exiled for defying Zektar's rule. She knows the uncharted regions better than anyone." Terry's brow furrows. "Can we trust her?" Cade meets his gaze. "I trust her with my life." Hours later, the Odyssey descends through the mists of a forgotten moon, landing amidst the ruins of an ancient outpost. Terry, Cade, and a squad of Marines disembark, weapons at the ready. A lithe figure emerges from the shadows, a female Gamelon with iridescent scales and piercing violet eyes. Nezra. "I knew you'd come," she says to Cade, her voice a melodic purr. She eyes Terry and the humans warily. "But I didn't expect you to bring outsiders." "They saved my life," Cade says. "They're here to help us stop Zektar." Nezra regards Terry for a long moment, then nods. "Very well. But the path ahead is fraught with danger. Ancient horrors and deadly creatures guard the way to the High Council." "We're not afraid," Terry says, his eyebrows furrowed. "You should be," Nezra warns. "The uncharted territories are a death trap. But if you're determined, I'll guide you." As the unlikely allies embark on their perilous mission, Cade pulls Terry aside. "I never thanked you," he says, "for risking everything to save me, to help my people." Terry clasps Cade's shoulder. "We're in this together now. Your fight is our fight." Cade nods, a newfound respect kindling in his eyes. The Gamelon and the human captain forge deeper into the treacherous wilds, the first tentative bonds of friendship taking root amidst the chaos of war. But the greatest challenges still lie ahead. Zektar's forces close in, ancient secrets await, and the hope of the universe hangs in the balance. The Odyssey slices through the void, carrying the hopes of two species into the heart of darkness. On the bridge, Terry stares out at the stars, steeling himself for the trials to come. Beside him, Cade and Nezra stand united, a living symbol of the alliance forged in the crucible of conflict. Together they will brave the horrors of Gamelon space and unravel the secrets that could turn the tide of war. For in this desperate mission lies not only the future of the Gamelon race, but the destiny of all life among the stars. The tranquility of space shattered as alarms blared through the Odyssey's corridors. Captain Terry Robertson's eyes widened at the tactical display, a swarm of red dots converging on their position. "Zektar's forces," he breathed. "All hands, battle stations." The ship rocked violently as the first salvo struck. Sparks showered from consoles as crew members scrambled to their posts. Terry gripped his chair, barking orders to return fire. Outside, space erupted in a dazzling light show as energy beams crisscrossed between vessels. The Odyssey danced and weaved, but Zektar's flagship hammered them relentlessly. In the midst of chaos, a crackling transmission cut through. "Captain, this is Cade. We've picked up your distress call. Hold on, we're coming!" Relief washed over Terry's face, but it was short-lived. A deafening explosion rocked the bridge as a direct hit breached their shields. Acrid smoke filled the air, Alarms screaming damage reports from all decks. "Evacuate non-essential personnel," Terry ordered, coughing through the haze. "Initiate emergency protocols." Escape pods jettisoned from the Odyssey's hull, streaking away from the battle. But Zektar's ships were merciless. A barrage of fire obliterated one pod, vaporizing it instantly. Terry's heart sank as he recognized the signal, his first officer. The bridge fell silent for a heartbeat, the loss palpable. Then fury ignited in Terry's eyes. "Intensify forward firepower. We're not going down without a fight." As if in answer to his defiance, space warped before them. The Shadowblade ships materialized, Kaid's vessel at the forefront. Without hesitation, they plunged into the fray. Aboard his ship, Kaid clutched the orb of dominion, its surface pulsing with ethereal energy. He closed his eyes, channeling its power. Emerald scales rippled with newfound strength as he connected to the artifact's ancient might. "For the Odyssey!" Kaid roared. A blinding beam erupted from his vessel, slicing through space. It struck Zektar's flagship, carving a molten gash across its hull. Fires bloomed in the vacuum as systems failed. Nezra's fingers danced across her console, her violet eyes narrowed in concentration. "I'm into their network," she announced. "Uploading the override codes now." One by one, Zektar's ships faltered, their weapons powering down as Nezra's viral assault spread through their systems. The Shadowblades pounced, their agile fighters weaving between the disabled vessels with deadly precision. Aboard the Odyssey, Dr. Emily Chen worked feverishly in the medical bay. The deck lurched beneath her feet as she stabilized a wounded crewman. Suddenly, a bone-chilling roar echoed through the ship. "Security to medical bay!" Emily shouted into her comm. "We have a containment breach!" A monstrous shape lumbered through the smoke-filled corridor. Razor-sharp claws scraped against metal as the escaped alien beast advanced, its eyes gleaming with primal hunger. Emily backed away, her hand inching towards a nearby surgical laser. But before she could grab it, a blur of motion filled the doorway. Kaid stood there, his body thrumming with the orb's power. "Get everyone out," he growled to Emily. "I'll handle this." The two titans clashed in a fury of claws and fangs. Kaid's amplified strength matched the creature's raw power as they grappled, crashing through equipment and walls alike. With a final Herculean effort, Kaid pinned the beast, subduing it with a precise strike to a pressure point. Outside, the battle raged on. Terry's tactical genius, combined with Kaid's power and Nezra's cyber warfare, slowly turned the tide. But Zektar wasn't finished. A sleek fighter detached from his crippled flagship, streaking towards the Odyssey's exposed reactor core. "He's going to ram us," Terry realized with horror. "Evasive maneuvers." But the Odyssey, battered and wounded, couldn't move fast enough. Terry's mind raced, searching for a solution. Then Kaid's voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, we have a plan. Can you lure Zektar into these coordinates?" Terry's eyes narrowed, studying the proposed location. A faint smile touched his lips as he understood. "Aye, we can do that. All hands, brace for impact." The Odyssey's engines roared to life, pushing the ship to its limits. Zektar's fighter pursued, closing the gap. At the last possible moment, Terry barked out an order. "Now!" Space warped around them as Kaid activated an ancient Gamelon technology. The ships were pulled into a swirling vortex, the heart of a gravity well. Zektar's fighter tumbled, thrown off course by the sudden shift. Inside the well, Kaid felt the orb's power diminish. He faced Zektar, their ships now evenly matched. "Face me, coward," Kaid challenged. "Let us settle this as true Gamelons, with honor." Zektar's snarling visage appeared on the monitor. "So be it, whelp. I'll crush you and your human pets." Their vessels clashed in a deadly dance, energy weapons flaring in the distorted space. Terry and the Odyssey crew watched in awe as the two Gamelon ships dueled, each seeking an advantage. Finally, Kaid saw his opening. With lightning reflexes, he maneuvered his ship, catching Zektar in a pincer maneuver. A precise shot disabled the warlord's engines, leaving him helpless. "Surrender, Zektar," Kaid demanded. Face the judgment of our people. For a moment, silence reigned. Then, defeated, Zektar's ship powered down. The battle was over. As the gravity well dissipated, the shadow blades surrounded Zektar's crippled vessel. Nezra's final decryption flashed across the screens, a summons for the Gamelon High Council. Terry slumped in his chair, exhaustion etched on his face. The Odyssey, once a proud vessel, now floated as a battered hulk. But they had survived. More than that, they had won. Keed's face appeared on the console, a mix of triumph and sorrow in his eyes. Captain, it's done. But at what cost? Terry nodded solemnly, thinking of his fallen comrades. We'll mourn our dead, my friend, but their sacrifice won't be in vain. Today, we've forged a new future for both our peoples. As the Shadow Blades prepared to escort Zektar back to Gamelon space, Terry gazed out at the stars. The Odyssey limped homeward, carrying the weight of loss, the pride of victory, and the hope of a new alliance that would reshape the galaxy. But the journey was not nearly finished. New challenges awaited, and the fledgling peace between humans and Gamelons would face many tests. For now, though, they had earned a moment of respite and the right to dream of a better tomorrow. The Odyssey's engines groaned as the battered ship limped through space. On the observation deck, Terry stood motionless, his gaze fixed on the star-speckled void. The taste of victory had turned bitter, tainted by the loss of so many under his command. Heavy footsteps echoed behind him. Keed approached, his emerald scales gleaming in the starlight. "Captain," he rumbled, his voice a low resonance that seemed to vibrate through the deck plating. Terry didn't turn. "How many?" he asked, his voice hollow. Keed understood. 43 of your crew, gone." The human captain's shoulders sagged. He finally looked at Kaid, his eyes haunted. "We won, but at what cost?" Before Keed could respond, Dr. Chen's urgent voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, to the bridge. We're receiving a transmission from the Gamelon High Council." They hurried to the command center. On the main view screen, the austere faces of the Gamelon elders materialized. One spoke, his voice carrying the weight of ages. "Kaid, son of our fallen emperor, your actions have not gone unnoticed. We hereby restore you to your rightful place as sovereign of the Gamelon domain." Keed bowed his head, then raised it with newfound dedication. "I accept this burden, honored elders. But know this, our ways must change. No longer will we be defined by conquest and destruction." He gestured to Terry. "These humans have shown us a better path." A ripple of surprise passed through the council. But before they could respond, alarms blared across the Odyssey. A monstrous shadow fell across the viewports as a colossal Gamelon warship materialized. Nezra's face appeared on a secondary screen, her violet eyes wide with terror. "The Umbral Sovereign," she breathed. "Zektar's final weapon." On the bridge of the behemoth, Zektar's towering form loomed. Though defeated, his eyes blazed with hatred. The Umbral Sovereign surged forward, its weapons primed to obliterate not just the Odyssey, but the entire Gamelon homeworld. Terry barked orders, his crew scrambling to defensive positions. But the Odyssey was crippled, her weapons depleted. Keed's shoulders slumped as he realized his amplified powers were spent. In that moment of desperation, Keed's eyes hardened with grim purpose. He gripped Terry's arm. "Captain, you must retreat. Now. There's only one way to stop this." Terry's eyes widened as understanding dawned. "No," he said, his voice cracking. "We'll find another way." But Keed was already moving. "You showed my people mercy when we deserved none," he said, his voice gentle despite the urgency. "Now it's my turn." Before Terry could protest further, Kaid was gone. Moments later, a shuttlecraft launched from the Odyssey's hangar bay, streaking towards the Umbral Sovereign. Keed's final transmission echoed across the bridge. "Humans of the Odyssey, you have my eternal gratitude. Let my actions be the dawn of a new era for both our kinds." The shuttle impacted the dreadnought's hull. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then a blinding flash erupted, engulfing the Umbral Sovereign in a cataclysmic explosion. When the light faded, only scattered debris remained. Silence fell over the Odyssey's bridge. Terry stood rigid, his eyes fixed on the spot where Keed had made his final stand. The view screen flickered to life once more, the Gamelon Council regarding them with newfound respect. "Emperor Keed's sacrifice will not be forgotten," one elder intoned. "The covenant between our peoples begins here. We shall honor it and one day surpass it." As the transmission ended, Terry turned to his battered crew. Their faces were etched with exhaustion and grief, but something else burned in their eyes: hope, the embers of a new future, kindled by Keed's final act of courage. Terry squared his shoulders. "Set a course for Earth," he ordered, his voice steady. "We have a lot of work ahead of us." The Odyssey's engines hummed to life, carrying them towards home in the dawn of a new era. But as they left Gamelon space behind, the vastness of the cosmos stretched before them, a reminder that their journey was not nearly finished.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.